Hello everybody, FAI here, or I here, and welcome back to another Accureye Talk Sale. And in today's Accureye Talk Sale, I thought that even though I am a main DPS player, I thought I'd give you my tips and my, understanding to help you with all the characters in Overwatch. And I will give you my personal tips, my thoughts on how you should play them, and ways to really make yourself a better overall player on whatever role you decide to play. Now, obviously, I will also go into, are they a brawler composition, a dive composition, or a poke composition? Because again, as it is, every player has a certain particular for each map and has a certain understanding for, helping you in a particular map. And, you obviously need to learn to switch when you need to switch. But, of course, if you have an understanding of a character or, the certain character that you will be playing, it should make it much, much, much easier for yourself. But in general, you obviously, in general, just want to have an understanding of your own personal moves and, decision for overall. And in this case, we're going to be starting with one of the easiest to understand characters when it comes down to tanks, which is Reinhardt. And Reinhardt, beyond what everyone believes, is a brawler. So, you kind of want to use him more defensively. And, while there are times where you do want to get aggressive with him, don't try to get aggressive with him if your thoughts are you can't inevitably close the distance between a character and swinging at them. And, while Route 66 is probably not the best map for Reinhardt, it was the first map that I kind of got into to kind of display Reinhardt and how to utilize him to some degree. Because, again, one of the main things is learning how to utilize your, your character and, how to make them at least effective. Because, again, Reinhardt is a brawler type, which means that he does not have range at all. And this means that you can't just spam or rush towards an enemy without, having some form of protection alongside you. Because, again, for the most part, as a Reinhardt, you kind of want to protect your team first and foremost, especially considered that you are a main shield. You are a main shield, you are a hard shield for say, and this means that your first and foremost job should be protection of your team and keeping the objective moving to some degree. If you need to pill like I am here, then go ahead and pill. There's no problem in making sure that, you have your shield all the time. In fact, that's the one mistake many Reinhardts make, is that they don't focus on their shields. They don't focus on trying to, make their shield priority. Here, I get a charge, and it was mostly because the Orisa was not paying attention, so inevitably it was easier to close the distance and basically, keep out the Orisa from, doing any more damage as a poke. There, I'm focusing on, Genji, because, again, he's a dive character that pushed out way too far for his team, and, inevitably, he got picked off. Now, he didn't get picked off by me, but, he inevitably got picked off. And here we got the double poke shield of, Sigma and Orisa. And I'm trying to get my healers to give me some healing and some attention, and luckily they do. So, now I'm back on the attack, on the offensive, and I'm trying to regroup my team to kind of tell them, hey, we gotta move. We gotta push this thing forward. So, once again, we're doing a great job. Me and this Roadhog are doing a great job. This Roadhog, who is a poke character, or a poke tank, is doing a great job of just keeping everyone kind of away from the objective, while I'm here trying to providing protection for the whole team. But as you can see, one of the main things with Reinhardt is don't try to get overly aggressive. I've seen too many Reinhardts who are overly aggressive. And because they're overly aggressive, they're not, they inevitably push themselves too far on the attack and, give themselves too much onto the overall, attack and doing DPS. Now here, our Ana gave me nano, which is really, really good. That was a really great decision in my opinion, because it allowed me to inevitably get closer to them and try to pick off whoever I could. Obviously, I didn't pick off anyone except for that Genji when I came back to the objective. But again, this is the main thing as Reinhardt that you want to do, is focus on protecting your team. Making sure that your team has protection when they need it is utmost and foremost when it comes down to it. It may not seem like as a main tank that you should do that, but as a tank you should protect your team at all costs and ensure that your team is not afraid of someone or something that's coming up on them, because again, it's not something that they should be afraid of. As long as your supports are doing their job by, supporting you, keeping you alive, and of course, support and not getting overly aggressive or overly like, oh, I should be doing DPS, then, you should be fine. And same thing with, like, as a tank, don't let your shield break. If you're Reinhardt, don't let your shield break, and try to ensure that your shield is always around or near full health. The worst thing that can happen as a Reinhardt is your shield breaks. And that's one of the huge errors that I see most Reinhardts making. Now, I will go over common errors and common mistakes that I see every player doing in a future video. But in this video, one of the main things is just to focus on Reinhardt. And, like I said, that's one of the main errors that most Reinhardts make, is that, they think their shield is invincible. Your shield is not invincible. And keep an eye on your shield. If you have to peel away from your shield and peel away from, protecting your team, don't be afraid to peel and protect your team. Same thing with like moving out of the area. If you have to move away from the objective for a little bit just to regroup with your team because your team gets picked off completely, then go ahead and do that. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to run away from the objective, if not for a little bit of time, because again, that'll give you time to build up your stamina, your stats, and of course, in general, that also gives you time to, buff away from, whatever, if you were too, overall, aggressive. And in this case, I got a little overly aggressive and I was trying to, push forward that small group. Obviously, the hammer didn't work on it this time, but, that's the main thing you want to do. It's just, keep yourself protected. Make sure that you are watching your shield and you are ensuring that your shield never really truly breaks. Again, like I've said before, the worst thing that can happen as a Reinhardt is your shield breaks. And you've got to know that. Same thing with like a Reinhardt who gets too aggressive. The worst thing that can happen is the Reinhardt gets too aggressive. Now here, I push forward a little bit and I take out their Mercy. But that was not a bad push because again, they were disoriented. They were not sure what was going on. They didn't even realize that we were pushing the objective so hard or so heavily. And that's something that I pay attention to, especially as Reinhardt. You're not going to be getting a lot of glory like DPS or anything. I mean, that's what your DPS are for. As the tank, the main job is protecting your team and ensuring that none of your team gets picked off easily. In many ways, you are the front line, the front defense between everybody. And that's something that you want to keep aware of, is that you are the front line. You are the defense that everyone is going to be looking towards when it comes down to blasting away any intruders in your area and keeping the objective or the point alive. So, again, moving on into the next match to finish up a little bit of my talk here and to also finish up some other tips is, like I said, one of the main mistakes that I see every Reinhardt make is they get too aggressive. Because they are a brawler type, and because they have over 500 health, a lot of that being armor, a lot of Reinhardts just think they're invincible. So they just try to take on whoever they can to create DPS and create some actual eliminations on their own point and end. But that is a huge error on a Reinhardt's mistake list, because as a Reinhardt, you never want to overly get aggressive on the fight. And you never want to overly push push for DPS. I mean, Same thing with Reinhardts that are too defensive. There are many Reinhardts who are just way too defensive. And, they just block all the damage they can until their shield breaks. But again, this is another huge error and mistake that many Reinhardts make, is they allow their shields to break. And, when your shield breaks, it is a long process. It's a long time before, you get the shield back. And, you've got to learn to utilize that natural cover and utilize your overall, ability to, keep everyone alive and keep your shield at its maximum health if you can help it. It's going to be a lot of slow pushes as a tank. I mean, as a tank, you're never going to have a full-on, quick push. I mean, being a tank, if anything, is one of the longest lanes, or, if you will, longest things you can do. And here, I get the nano, which is a great choice. I mean, in that case, they made a good choice for me to get the nano, because I was able to push up the aggression a little. And, of course, here we take the point. And, another thing is, as a Reinhardt, take the point and keep the point protected. Don't ever move too far away from the point, because, again, you are a brawler type. As a brawler type, you're basically going to be protecting the point anyway. So, leave your DPS to do everything else. Leave your DPS to basically control and hold the point when it's necessary. And of course, if you do get a chance to, take on somebody because they get too close to the objective or whatever, then go ahead and take them on. But otherwise, the main thing is to, of course, control your point. Control the objective and make sure that nobody is able to get past you. Because, again, as a tank, that's your first and foremost. And, again, that's one huge error that many players make as the tank is they either get too aggressive and they don't protect the point enough, or they follow their team into a zone that, necessarily you probably don't want to be in. Because, again, it's not necessary for you to be in that zone. It's not necessary for you to push that zone. So, again, one of the main things is know your points, know where you need to be, and know how to keep yourself, alive and protected. Because, again, that's something that'll keep you, good for the game. Another thing is, like I said, if you're, know your role. One of the main mistakes that everyone makes is they peel over to a DPS role because they think, oh, we're doing fine. We're winning, we can DPS. But no, you've always got to know your role, no matter what role you play, whether it's support, tank, or DPS. If you're a support, then stay support. Don't ever go aggressive and think that just because we're winning, I can now DPS a little bit more. You never know. Every role or every game changes in an instant. Changes in maybe 2 to 3 seconds. And you've got to be aware that, oh crap, my team's getting picked off. Am I doing enough support? If I'm not doing enough support, then I better get off the aggressive end and stop doing DPS to support my team. Same thing with if you're a tank. If you're a tank and you're not supporting your team, aka protecting them, keeping them alive, keeping yourself in the front line to where everyone stays alive, then you better be realizing, oh crap, I'm doing too much DPS. I'm not protecting my team enough. I better get back onto protecting my team. And that's one of the main things that too many players don't realize, is that it's just way too easy to have, you be in this particular mood or particular role where, everything's just not going your way. And, everything doesn't go your way because, again, you may not be playing your role. And in this case, that's exactly what happens here. There was a lot of, in this match, and unfortunately, you won't be able to see it all, but there was a lot of times where, unfortunately, not everyone was playing their role. You could tell this Anna is not supporting her team enough. And you could tell that the Lucio sometimes was getting too aggressive and not supporting his team enough with either speed boost or, whatever. But, with that having been said, hopefully this has helped you at least become a better Reinhardt to some degree. And will this make you a better Reinhardt completely in a day? Absolutely not. I mean, it'll take some time before you really can start, feeling or realizing that this is what you need to do. But again, remember that if you are going to be a tank role, realize that you are not always going to have all the glory of eliminations and the glory of doing the most DPS and stuff. But again, that's not your job. Remember that that's not your job. As a tank and as an offhand person who knows a little bit more about the tank, your job is to protect your team first and foremost. As a support, your job is to support your team first and foremost. If there is a point where you are aware that your team is winning, everything's going your way, then, take the time to peel away from your role. But always be ready to peel back to your role in an instant. Because again, awareness is number one on winning any game, especially in FPS games like Overwatch. In games like Overwatch, to win, you've got to be able to peel back to your role in an instant. You can't just immediately go like, oh, well, my team's doing fine without me supporting them, so I'm not going to support them anymore. No, you've got to be ready to support and peel back to your role in an instant and in an immediate case or point of, oh, okay. Now, if you want to be a DPS and you just want to do DPS, then load into DPS and always just play DPS. Don't try to load into a tank because I'm going to find a match quicker. If you want to be a DPS role, then learn to just go, okay, I'm going to have to wait. I'm going to have to load into a DPS and just wait my time out. Because again, too many players play other roles because, again, as a DPS role, you're going to be waiting like 5, 6, maybe even 7 minutes for a match. And that match can only last maybe 5 or 6 minutes. But again, the DPS role was made for the DPS, and that's why it's there. If you want to learn how to be a tank role or even just be a support role, then, the main thing is you've got to learn to be that support. You've got to learn to be that overall DPS, that role. And you've got to learn that I'm not going to get a lot of glory. I'm going to be in the background a lot of times. Which, again, is okay. It's okay that you're in the background. You still are winning as a team. Remember, all your actions help you win as a team. And that's something that many players do not realize, is everyone has an action that makes them win as a team. It's not just like Apex Legends, where you can solo maybe a 3v1, and everyone's going to go, wow, look at you. It's not like, Fortnite, where you can solo, 10, 20, 11 people. Remember that in general, first and foremost, Overwatch is a team-based game, and you've got to realize that your role plays a pivotal point in everyone's gameplay. Same goes with if you are a role in Apex Legends. Apex Legends does have its own roles, and you've got to remember that your role and how you play plays a pivotal point in everyone's playstyle and in everyone's gameplay, and it also helps if you win or lose. Now, if you have a set-based team, you have a team that you trust, and you know that they're going to be, doing, everything that they need to do, then you can peel away from your role a little bit. But, remember that first and foremost, your role is always the most important thing. And if you're not playing your role, then you are going to always lose. It's almost guaranteed that if you don't play your role, especially in a game where there are roles, then you are going to lose. It's guaranteed. It's basically guaranteed. And that goes the same with any FPS game or team-based game. Like Apex Legends, once you get into the Platinum ranks, the Diamond ranks, or even the Gold ranks, it's the first time in a long while where you start playing as a team and you have to start realizing that, oh, I'm going to be now having to peel and work with this team and maybe play the role to the best of my knowledge. If you like being aggressive, then play someone, then like on the case of Apex Legends, if you like being aggressive, then play someone like Bangalore, play someone like Wraith, play someone like Revenant, play someone like, like Mirage. They all are key aggressive players in their own way and their own route. But remember that, you have to, as an individual, know your role, know your decisions, and make smart decisions. If your team is getting into trouble and you have the health or whatever to keep your team alive, then help your team stay alive and prove that you can be this person. But if you don't have the health, then don't expect your team to don't expect to help your team. Run away, regain your health, gain some breathing room, and then come back and, back to charging, and if not, if you will, back to doing what you need to do as a player. But, overall, just know that every action you take, and if you are playing a game like Overwatch where there are roles and stuff, then your roles play a pivotal point in your, gameplay and in your style. But with that having been said, thank you, everybody, for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully this video has helped you become a better Reinhardt, if at all anything. If not, it's helped you, make less mistakes. Because, again, mistakes are something that everyone is always going to make, even me. But if we can limit our mistakes as a solo player, if we can basically block out the noise of chat and everyone who's around you because they're seeing something that they don't like seeing, then, we can become better. Remember that if you're solo queuing, the main thing that's important is yourself and your actions, your moves, your role in general. Don't think too much about the team unless, of course, you have someone that you're dueling with. If you have someone that you trust and you're playing with someone you trust and you know that they're going to be in the same mindset as you, then it'll become a lot easier and it becomes a breeze to be successful every time. But if you're not playing with someone that you trust or someone that you is going to be very good or helpful to your team, then your actions as a solo queue player are going to always play a pivotal role in making you successful. And that's something that you just gotta realize. But with that being said, thank you everybody for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. And yeah, I am live. If you like this video, you know what to do. Hit the like button, get subscribed, hit the bell notification, because I know you want to know when my next video drops next. Thank you everybody for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. And yeah, with that being said, I am live on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/FA_EYE. I'm live on Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday for sure. But lately, I've also been live on Monday and Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday, I'm usually live for about 2 to 3 hours. Wednesdays and Saturdays, I'm usually live for about 4 to 5 hours. And Thursdays, I'm usually live for about 2 to 3 hours. But with that being said, thank you, everybody, for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. And until the next one, everybody, this is FAI or I signing out and saying farewell, everyone.